Thinking of importing goods into Zimbabwe? Don't get stuck at customs. I'll break down the full process step by step. Hello, my name is Wisdom, and I help Zimbabwean entrepreneurs understand business compliance and digital tools to scale their business. In this video, I will explain how to register as an importer, how to handle customs clearance, and how to avoid the common mistakes most importers make. So without further ado, let's get right started. So the first step is we need to define personal imports and commercial imports. So on personal imports, these are done by individuals, and commercial imports are done by businesses. So we will do this in steps so that it's easily understandable. So now we move on to step-by-step import process. So on step 1, you need to register as an importer. To start importing, you need to register with ZIMRA and obtain a tax identification number. Previously, it was called BPN number, business partner number, but because ZIMRA changed the system to a digital system that is called TAMS, it's now called TIN or tax identification number. So this TIN links to your ZIMRA. Once you have obtained that, you must register with ASYCUDA World, or you might need to activate your TIN for customs purposes. When you register with ZIMRA as a business, you are registering for domestic taxes, but when you want to import, you need to reactivate it for customs purposes. When you activate it for customs purposes, you register with ASYCUDA World system, which is a system that is used for customs declaration and tracking of your imports. Once you have done that, that is the first step of importing. We go to the second step. What is the second step? You need to obtain import permits and licenses. So what does this mean? Not all goods require permits, but items like vehicles, food, medicine, and electronic gadgets may need special clearances. You must check with the relevant ministries, such as the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, to get the right or the required permits. For example, there are some restricted or controlled goods that are manufactured here in Zimbabwe, because to protect the local industry, they put permits on that on those items, so that not everyone can just import those items, but you need special permits or licenses to import those items, because they might be found in the country at a much lower cost, or at a cost that is reasonable, so that they can protect the local industry. So that's step 2. You need to obtain import permits and licenses. But as we said, not all goods require permits. So you need to research on that before you import. Then after you found your items don't need permits, you then proceed. So we move on to step 3. So after step 3, after step 2, we need to move to step 3, where you prepare your import documents. So to clear your goods smoothly, you need to have the right paperwork in order. So this includes your bill of entry. So your bill of entry is submitted or processed through the ASYCUDA system, but this one you do it lastly. First of all, you need to obtain a commercial invoice from your supplier, or a supplier's invoice, detailing the items, the HS codes, the price, the number of items, the total price, as well as also highlighting the discounts when you are discounted for items. Then you need to have a bill of entry from the country of export. In that country, they call it a bill of lading. When a country is exporting, it produces a bill of lading once everything has been verified. That bill of lading will be received by the receiving country as a export or transit bill of entry. After that, you need to have also value declaration forms if required. Then also you might need consignment notes. For instance, maybe rail advice notes or air way bill. Then also you might need freight statements. So freight statements, you understand when you move on. Freight statement is just highlighting how much did it cost from importing from China up to the point of entry, and how much it is going to cost from the point of entry to the collection point. So we'll explain this point further when we are explaining in the next step. Then also, if your order is coming, let's say in containers, they are needed, cargo manifest are needed. Then also insurance statement is needed. So insurance statement, it needs also to highlight how much does it cost to insure from the point of dispatch up to the point of entry, then from point of entry up to the collection point. So insurance statements are needed as well. Then certificates of origin are also needed where preference is claimed. Then port charges, invoices, especially if you are doing from China to Zimbabwe. Then original permits, maybe also licenses, duty-free certificates. Then also you might need rebate letters for goods that are under rebate. Then also importer's worksheet or agent worksheet. So that is number 2 of preparing import documents. So all these documents, you need to be aware of them. What is a bill of entry? What is a bill of lading? What is a value declaration form? What are consignment notes? What are freight statements and what does it mean? What are cargo manifests? What are insurance statements? What are certificates of origin? So all those items, you need to be aware of them as you prepare import documents. Then also, when you prepare all these documents, lastly, you need to be aware that you need to attach the importer's tax clearance. You need to attach the importer's tax clearance. So we move on to step 4. Now we are at the entry level, customs clearance and duties. So once your documents are in order, ZIMRA will assess your duty, VAT, and any other applicable taxes. So how duty is calculated? Duty is calculated on the basis of cost, insurance, and freight value of the imported goods up to the point of entry into Zimbabwe. So if you remember well on step 3, we said insurance statements, highlighting how much it costs to insure from the point of dispatch up to the point of entry, and how much it costs to insure from the point of entry up to the collection point. So you will see on your documents that they will calculate it as CIF, that is cost, insurance, and freight value. So what happens also with freight, the transporter needs to highlight how much it costs to bring that item up to the point of entry. Let's say you get charged $100. How much does it cost to arrive at the point of entry? Let's say it will cost you $60. That $60 will be included in the calculation of duty, but the $40 that is costing from the point of entry up to the collection point will not be included in the calculation of duties. So that is the CIF. So that is how duty is calculated. Duty is calculated on the basis of cost, insurance, and freight up to the point of entry. So insurance and freight inside Zimbabwe is excluded from the value of duty purposes. So you need to understand that. So that is the meaning of duty calculation. So we are still on step 4, customs clearance and duties. After that, a bill of entry is submitted through the ASYCUDA World system, where clearing agents and registered companies lodge clearance documents electronically. They scan their documents and attach and submit. So we said on step 3 that you need to know that you need to attach, after you have gathered or prepared all the documents, you need to attach a tax clearance. But if an importer doesn't have a tax clearance, a 10% informal cross-border trader's tax is charged. So, along with other applicable duties before goods are released. That means if you don't have a tax clearance, there will be a 10% top-up, which you will be charged. So after you've prepared all the documents, you need to have to attach a tax clearance. After all these things are done, duty payments are made. How do you make duty payments? These are made via bank deposits into ZIMRA's account and credit to the importer's account. So once documents are processed and verified, ZIMRA issues a release order for collection. Sometimes they might require an inspection, whereby they issue an examination order to verify details like quantity, maybe classification as well as value. So that is step 4. Step 4 is about the customs clearance and duties. How duty is calculated, how do you submit it, and how do you pay it, and what are the implications of not having all the documents. Especially if you don't have a tax clearance, you have a 10% on top. Then step 5, you collect your goods, or your goods will be delivered to your point of collection or point of delivery. So these are the 5 steps that are carried out in importation of goods at a commercial level. What are the most common mistakes to avoid? Incorrect HS codes. What are HS codes? These are harmonized system codes that are being used world over to classify tax. So a range of products have codes, and those codes are being used by governments to classify for tax and to track which goods have been imported in a country, which goods have been exported in a country. So using incorrect HS codes will have you penalized or being charged fines. So you need to avoid that. You can download the HS code systems online to see which codes have these codes. Let's say you are importing certain goods in food. They have different HS codes and different duties depending on the country. So that is mistake number 1 to take note of. Mistake number 2, undervaluing goods. So some people might try to declare lower values to reduce taxes, but ZIMRA often revalues items based on international pricing, and it will lead to fines if they find that you have undervalued your items. Especially if you remember well, end of year, some cars were being impounded in inside Harare or inside Zimbabwe because they were undervalued and they had paid lower duties. So undervaluing goods it will make you get fines and penalties. Then also missing permits. As we said in step number 2, you need to obtain the right permits and licenses. And also not all goods need permits or licenses. So without necessary permits, your goods may be delayed and when your goods are delayed at the border, they will start paying demurrage when they are at the border. And sometimes that storage fee, it might be so huge that you can't even pay it, so your goods may be confiscated. So missing payments is mistake number 4. Mistake number 5. Another mistake is not using a clearing agent. Yes, it's very important to understand the basics, but you need to use a clearing agent. Don't say I know it all. Use a clearing agent, but also knowing the processes that are done in importation of your goods. So to avoid costly errors and speed up the process, you need to use a registered clearing agent who is professional. So that's how you can import goods into Zimbabwe hassle free. I hope this breakdown makes things simple for you and straightforward for you. If you found this video helpful, you can subscribe and like and hit the notification button. Just as a heads up, I'll be hosting a live session on the 5 common mistakes business owners make in regards to tax on Thursday, the 20th of March. So you can register up here or here. I'm not so sure where the button is, but you can register for the upcoming event, which will be hosting from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. So see you right there.